All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweet out to everybody so everyone can join in here. One second. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good. Well, I hope everybody had a great extended weekend with President's Day today. So, back at it tomorrow. So, we're back at it tonight. And tonight we have a fresh topic, and I thought it would be pretty relevant here. So, this week we're going to be talking about day trading Tesla's epic move, right? So it's had a huge epic run up, right, from the 300 levels to almost 1,000 in just a matter of less than 30 days. And today we're going to talk about one of those topics, right, about the epic move, which is key levels. Okay. So before we do that today, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only, not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, well, let's get started here. And before we get started, let's take a look and see where we're at with the SPX from last week. Let me get this pulled up right here. I had the S&P futures up, which we'll look at in a second. It just with the monthly chart, we want to get that pulled up right here. So let's get that. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. So this is where we're at. So this is the S&P monthly chart, right? So far we're just about a little over halfway through February, if you could believe it. Spring is just around the corner. The monthly chart here has pushed above the upper Bollinger Band on the monthly chart, and we're starting to get a little bit overbought again here on the RSI, based on a 70-30 scale. And it's starting to, push a little bit on this one. So let's see how it pushes so far. But very, very strong candle, Marubozu candle so far. If it closes like this, again, very bullish. The weekly chart, impressive, right? So we basically got out of a 4-day congestion, or 5 or 6 days of congestion right here, with a strong close on Friday to go to all-time highs, or a strong close this week to get to all-time highs, and then finish off the week strong out of this level right here. So that's looking pretty good. Daily chart, again, very interesting, right? So this is one of those ones where it's just like you just got to be careful over the weekend, right? Because we did finish with an inside day here. Right basically near all-time highs, but also right under this micro trend line right here, which is pushing up. So this is one of those ones that just kind of tells us like, just be a little bit cautious going into the weekend. And you can see here with S&P futures are down a little bit. We'll take a look at that in a second. Let's look at the price action here real quick and see how the day went on Friday, which was actually a pretty interesting day. It was pretty choppy. We had the first we gapped up a little bit, had a little bit of a push at the open, right, and then we finished with a 15 orb here. We broke that down, but we ended up holding that trend line that we talked about earlier on the daily chart, and then pushed our way back up again with a nice candle back in the 15 orb range. And look at this, two upper shadows right here at the 15 orb high, right? That just kind of tells you, okay, it's done testing that level, wants to test back lower again. So that's what it did. Came back down here, a nice little inside 15 right here to push back down again, and then it got low enough, right? Got low enough right into this buying pressure right here from the day before. Gave me a nice lower shadow right there, pushed up to 15 orb low, one little bull flag, and then up into the close. So they definitely rallied into the close. Probably got a lot of bulls in over the weekend. The market likes to do that, and of course they're gapping it down right now. Well, we'll see where we open, but the S&P futures are down right now. So let's take a look at that and see how these are looking this evening. So a little bit rough here this evening, right? We as you can see here, all through the Sunday night session, right? It was pretty choppy, right? We had a President's Day today, so it was pretty choppy in today. Nice little spike at the open though, right? Nice little spike at the opening area right there, and then just kind of some chop there. And then once we closed tonight, there's news that Apple is reducing their revenue guidance based on the coronavirus in China. So that type of news with the biggest stock, one of the biggest stocks on the Dow and the S&P, right? That's going to affect, that's definitely going to affect futures, right? Because it's a concern that if Apple can't make it with the coronavirus, right, how are the other, companies doing, right? So what it does is it shows that there is some global supply chain issues going on over there. So that's definitely kind of spilling over into the markets here. So let's see how they hold up tonight. Right now, it's been pretty stable, right? Barely even down 10 points, right? I mean, 10 points used to be a lot, but right now 50 is kind of like our the speed limit right now on this, right? But right now it's holding this at 3370-ish area right here. So let's see if it does that into the evening, and see where we open up tomorrow. Now it could be a good buy the dip opportunity, as usually these things like to be. They like to push these moves down after hours. They like to do these moves after hours, and then they like to buy it up into the next day. So it's just kind of been a trend we've been seeing recently. So anyway, good stuff. So let's take a look here. So this week we're going to be talking about, once again, day trading Tesla's epic move, right? And we're going to be talking about key levels, right? So this is really cool because we just talked about a lot of key levels last week or a couple weeks ago. And so really important stuff. And so let's just kind of go back and review a couple of those things, the key levels that were the key indicators that, hey, maybe Tesla is getting ready to move. And so so let's take a look and see. So let's go with Tesla right here. So first of all, one of the key considerations this week, one of the key considerations we have to think about Tesla is it's different than everything else. Right, it's different than every other company out there, and that's the point, right? That's the purpose of, that's what Tesla's out there for, right? Their CEO is different than every CEO that's out there, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more this week. But that's the thing, right? We can't think of Tesla as a traditional stock, right? This is one that the CEO is a little bit out there. I mean, and but he loves his company. He's got a dream, and and he's going to do anything he can to continue to push this innovation forward, right? And so that's the idea. And so this is different than any other stock. So one of the things we want to look at, right? Anytime things start to change composure, we did recently we talked about changes of composure, right? One of the things we want to look at here is with Tesla is you can see I have the monthly chart pulled up right here, and you can see it was it was before this happened. Before this major move happened, right? It was still pretty volatile. It was still pretty crazy, right? But when we start to kind of pull things out and kind of look at it on the monthly chart, we can really start to see how important these levels were, right? So if we go just to this key level right here, which is the prior all-time high, it was 387, right? And so just right at this kind of 387 level, right? If we check this out, wait, this right here, we put that line across it. There's your key level right there. So just if like we were trading off the daily chart or even intraday, right? One of the things we always want to see is a breakout candle. We want to see it with some volume, right? So when you start to see it on the macro charts, right, it definitely is something that we want to take interest in, right? So so this candle right here was kind of the beginning of it, right? So this was the first one right here. There was no earnings in this period. This is all through. Just the last move, Cybertruck type stuff. And so we got through all these levels right here, right? So this is a key candle right here that showed that more upside was possible. Now, did it project that we were going to move 600 points in 2 months? No, not necessarily, right? But it did show that it was looking to go a little bit higher, right? And there's some other stuff too that you can look. So that's why it's one of the things I wanted to point out here is that it's important to go to the higher time frames. You don't have to do it every day, right? But it does help sometimes in the evening, just for those key stocks, just to kind of step back for a little bit after you're done with the craziness of the intraday stuff. Just kind of step back and just kind of get into the zone of just looking at charts and pull up the monthly charts and the weekly charts and be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here, right? And then see if you can that thesis can continue, right? So this breakout candle here is really important, but it also did something pretty cool too. It gave a little fry pan bottom pattern right here, right? So a nice little sideways action, nice little fry pan right here, and that's bullish, right? So just a couple little things like that, and it held the monthly cloud as well, right? So so that very, very important stuff, and of course the 50 moving average on the monthly chart is important too. So the other thing we want to talk about, right, is just like we mentioned just there, is moving averages, right? And so one of the big things too are the moving averages, right? And so one of the ones we talked about recently, and we even used Tesla's example when we talked about it, is the 30 weekly moving average. Very important stuff, right? So Weinstein talked about this in his book, right? The Secrets to Profiting in Bull and Bear Markets. And so that's really an important level for us to look at. Now look at this. So there's that level there on the weekly chart right here, the one we talked about earlier, right? The prior all-time high levels, right? And so we could see that was clearly very important here on the weekly chart too. We broke above this on the weekly with a nice candle with very good increasing volume, right? So that level was key. But the other key level too is this moving average, right? So the 30 moving average. Now, right when we were below it, right, we're concerned, right? Especially when we close bearishly below it, shooting star type candle, we get nice moves down. But once we start to push above it, right, and close above it, we definitely want to take notice, right? These are areas of interest, right? So we can see here, this is a nice candle on the weekly chart after an earnings week, and it gave a nice move up, kind of close to those all-time high levels, and came back down again, right? Back below the 30 moving average. Then we did this, right? So you can see here, this 30 weekly moving average shows that little fry pan bottom type thing, a little bit extended out here, right? That we started to curl up, right? And look at this candle right here after that earnings week. Look at how strong that is, right? That's just showing you it is above the 30 moving average, and the 30 moving average is starting to point up, right? And now, I mean, it's not saying it was easy, right? Obviously, we got a little bit of a bull flag right here, nice little pullback, right? And then it was here where we broke over this key level again that showed us where we were going, that it was at least going to try to attempt higher, right? So these are some of the very, very key levels. And then, of course, when we go to the daily chart, we want to look at our 50 and our 200 moving averages, right? We could see just around that time on the weekly chart as well, right? We started where we broke out over this key level again, right? Look what happened. We had a golden cross here on the 50 and the 200 moving average. Right, so now, I mean, it did take a while to start going, yeah, but did the 50 moving average tell us that there was a change of composure, like we talked about? Certainly, right? Certainly. And then we broke out of this, kind of almost retested the level again, and then see ya to the upside. So now we're going to talk about more stuff this week. We're going to talk about really cool things like short float, some of the other key factors that were behind this push to the upside. But I did want to talk about all these key levels that are things to keep notice, and then also just basically that technique of being able to just kind of step back from the market, from the intraday, craziness, and just be able to look at the charts. If you have 4 or 5 charts that you really like to look at, and if Tesla's one of them, to kind of tune out on that monthly chart, zone out on that monthly and that weekly chart, and really look for those key levels and things that are changing. Look for the changes in composure. Look for the tests of key levels, and see if it makes sense, right? And don't force it to what you want to see. You have to look, just have to see what's really going on there. And usually the volume and the candlesticks are going to tell you. So anyway, good stuff. So at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can. We'll try to wrap up, as early as possible, so we're going to get a great night's sleep and have a good start to the week. It's a short week, so just keep an eye if you're trading options this week. The theta is going to be a little bit less forgiving this early this week. So as we get closer to Friday sooner, right, with the trading week. So just something to keep in mind there. So anyway, good stuff. So I have a few that came in here. Shirley sent in several. So we just kind of narrowing down here on the candlestick chart right here. But let's take a look at AMD. So AMD is looking pretty good right here. So what a close on Friday, right? So I believe we pushed to all-time highs right here, right? Even from the ancient times. And so it was a nice close right there. Good increased volume. This is definitely one to keep an eye on, especially if we could push above Friday's highs right there, right? So let's see. Futures may pull back a little bit. We may get down a little bit. Maybe an opportunity to buy the dip. Let's see if we can push through Friday's high and give a little bit of move on that one. But yeah, that's looking bullish, right? So work, this is another one that has been just defying the odds, right? So it had crazy news on IBM, and then the IBM news wasn't really real, and then it's still going anyway, right? So this thing looks angry right now. So it's it basically closed nicely above this key level right here. Good volume. Work is looking really good. RAD, now this is an interesting one, right? So Rite Aid Corp. So this is really kind of starting to look very interesting, right? So this is one that has pulled back, a lot over a recent very, very big move up, right? And it's holding some key levels right here, and I like how it's curling back up again. I like the inside day breakouts, right? So let's see what it can do here. Let's even get up to the cloud. Let's even get above it with some good volume. Let's even come up and test like the scene of the breakdown right here, scene of the breakdown right here, right? And then the open gap up here. So very, very key levels coming up on Rite Aid. So definitely keep an eye on this one. It's been popping up on our scans recently too, and it's been giving some nice intraday moves. So let's take a look. PayPal is another one. Very similar to AMD, right? Nice push to all-time highs, nice close, nice whole number level, right? Decent volume. We have a little bit decreasing volume going on right here, which is kind of concerning, but it's PayPal, right? So let's keep an eye on it. It's strong, but it's PayPal, right? So sometimes PayPal, it'll trick you out, it'll give you a little push the next day, and then it'll come back down, right? So this actually looks like the AMD candle right there. So watch for a push up, and then see what it does after that. Okay, and then Home Depot. A lot of these ones are pushing to all-time highs recently. So here's another one that's been just kind of giving us. This has been popping up on our scan a lot too, and it's been showing a lot of big intraday moves as well. And a nice close here on the daily chart with good increasing volume on Friday. So let's see if that gets some moving too. We got earnings coming up pretty soon as we start to get into the retail sector part of earnings season. So good stuff. Great chart, Shirley. Michael, what's going on? Hey, dude. Yeah, Square. Absolutely. Let's take a look at Square. So Square's been pretty epic too. That popped on the radar very, very nicely on Thursday. Gave a huge pop up, but couldn't get over these levels right here. So it's testing these, scene of the breakdown, scene of the breakdown. So watch out here. We got a little bit, maybe possible tweezer tops right there. So again, it looked like it was trying to break out of a bull flag. It failed to close above it strongly, right? And now it's in the upper end of the range from Friday. So let's see if we can hold that. But watch out for the tweezer tops there at those previous highs. Roku. Oh yeah, Roku. So Roku got demolished on Friday, right? So had good earnings, right? Decent outlook, right? Looked like it could do a possible gap and go over some key levels. Couldn't do it, right? So found where did it find resistance right here? Yeah, I mean, so you got like major resistance level right here, couldn't get to, right? And then these levels right here were just rejected, right? So so a big gap up to those levels, and we expect that, right? We talk about that here a lot, even here in the free live stream. We talk about, look, if you're expecting something to gap and go, we need to get over a level. If we're into some selling pressure, look for potential reversals on earnings gaps, especially, right? So anyway, that's exactly what happened right here. And plus, the market wasn't exactly forgiving on Friday, right? So Roku gave a big push down, got through the cloud, right? Blew through the 50-day moving average and came back down. So huge candle for Roku, 23.8 points on the downside, right? And now it's gonna be tough with the market gapping down tomorrow. If we gap down tomorrow, we got your 200-day moving average right here. So that is a definitely a possible place. Then we can see what it does. We can see if it holds that, and see if it wants to kind of try to work its way back up, get back above that cloud again. But yeah, it was a rough day for Roku on Friday. Docu has been incredible. This is one of those ones. This is kind of changing composure type stuff, right? So not only did we hit like an all-time high here, right, but it was an all-time high through several tests of a level, right? 1, 2, 3 major pivots right here, and then boom, this candle right here with good increasing volume. Let's see that volume coming up right here, and that was kind of your key, right? To be like, okay, it's ready to go a little bit higher. So it's been pushing its way up now. I mean, it's just now it's just every day it pushes higher as new price discovery, right? A little less volume on Friday, so just kind of be careful up here. But what a move it gave, right? We thought it was going to stay hanging out in this channel, and for a moment it looked like it did, right? Because we came up here, we came back down, and then that inside day right there was like, try above it again, and then it pushed its way up, right? IMGN. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, nice big move on Friday. Nice candle, nice gap and go. Wow, great one. Yeah, so we'll just see if I can hold it there. A little bit of an upper shadow, but looks like it's pretty strong right there. INMD. Let's see, INMD. Yeah, getting tweet like a tiger. So let's see right here. So see what it can do here. It's holding the 50-day moving average. Is holding the cloud. Let's see if we can get above this geometric level right here. Maybe try to make its way up. And then zoom. So one of the cool things, guys, about Zoom is I don't know if anybody's really noticed it. We pointed out in a couple of our the free videos, like our morning or lunchtime market updates, or the market wraps that we do every market day, right? But what's really interesting about Zoom is it's starting to look fractal, right? A smaller version of Tesla, if you guys can believe that. So take a look at Zoom right here, and burn this picture in your mind real quick. So nice little, big up move right from the 31st, right? Nice green candle on the 31st, nice move up, pennant, right? Tried to break to the upside, came back in, and then, inside day. And then you look at Tesla, right? I mean, it's like I said, it's fractal. So let's zoom out a little bit on this one, right? So nice day on Friday the 31st, big strong up day. This is the only day that was a little bit off on it, right? That crazy doji pennant, right? Move up, and then inside day again. So it's kind of interesting, how these either the patterns are exactly the same or the same algos are controlling both of these. So, but either way, it's very, very interesting. So, but yeah, gonna be money week with Bubble and the Mega Scanners, absolutely, and we've got more on the way, more cool stuff on the way that we've been working on this weekend. So, definitely pumped about it. So the super green and super red scans that we got have been super powerful, and now we've got other stuff too that's going to be fantastic for some more intraday type ideas and some intraday reversals. So we're in the testing process this week, so it'll be fun. So you guys get to be a part of it. So it's gonna be great. Claudio, what's going on? Tesla. Yeah, well, definitely Tesla. So Tesla. So let's talk about Tesla. We've already kind of talked about the key levels of how we got where we are. But right now, it's chilling a little bit, right? So we had an inside day right here. That compression led to expansion, right? So we had a huge day, right, on Thursday, and then another big day, right, because that was like a 83-point day. And then we had a nice inside day, still 27 points, still pretty decent. Inside day on Friday. Now look at that. We have an upper shadow right here, upper shadow right here, upper shadow right here. So we'll see what's going on, right? So if this, supply chain stuff affects it, right? I mean, Tesla just built a gigafactory in China, in Shanghai, right? So if that is, if that messes it up, right? I mean, we could see a down move, right, and test these levels, right? So, but we'll talk more about Tesla again this week. But just keep an eye on that inside day, those levels right there for sure. And then we got Shack Attack with the Shake Shack. So it's trying, right? So we talked about this this trading range here that we ultimately got. Look at that candle right there. Nice move to the upside, right? Then we're just not getting above the 200-day moving average right now. So we need to get above that. So it may come back down, test the cloud, all that stuff, but it's got to get above these levels right here. I mean, this candle right here is 75, 73. So over 76 with some volume could be good, but it's got earnings coming up too. So just kind of keep that in mind. And it can be epic on earnings as well. It can give some pretty big moves. We've seen it before. For sure. Guild, let's take a look. Guild's a tough one, as you know. Very tricky to trade, especially intraday. It gives you big fast moves, upper shadows, but it can be fun if you catch it, right? Double inside day on Friday. So let's see how that holds right here. It's in the upper end of the prior day's range, right? So let's see if we can break out of that and maybe kind of come up and test, some other levels here within these prior candles. Good. And then Microsoft, let's take a look. Yep, MSFT. So again, it's holding up. Right, it's holding up pretty well enough. It goes ex-dividend 2 days, So just keep that in mind. But a couple nice candles right here. This was a good candle right here. Again, nice gap up the next day. These are ones that you would like to look for follow through, but that's a great way. Gift horse trade, right? Nice gap up the next day. It's a good place to raise stops, right? Take profit there, and then then just wait for a possible entry. So decent close on Friday, right? It's closing above the prior all-time highs, right? Key level right here. So let's see if it can hold it. And if it does hold it, right, we may see it start to continue to build and work its way up. Good stuff. Matthew, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, man. Paul, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Marty, what's up? Good evening. Anil, what's going on? Hey. Yeah, Apple. Next support level. Let's take a look at Apple. So Apple, we've got... All right, so look how tight Apple got right here. So again, this is kind of cool right? in a way, right? If you think it's cool, right? But we had a push up here. We broke down this downward trend. This is one of the only ones that hasn't since we had that big breakdown a couple weeks ago last Friday. This is one of the only ones that hasn't on the NASDAQ and, one of the big ones that has our go-to list ones that hasn't pushed above its all-time highs yet, right? So it got real close on Wednesday, but it didn't do it. We kind of flagged that on Twitter. We talked about it in the group, right? And so what you can see here is it was nice, right? We pushed above the upper trend line, but we're still not out of the woods yet, right? We're still in the trend box because we have not pushed all-time highs yet and can't shift that trend line back over. Otherwise, we're still contending with the possible test of the low of the trend box, right? So we had an inside day, couldn't break it up on Friday, unfortunately, but it did hold it. It did hold the trend line. Now, again, key levels. So, all right, here we go. So let's take a look. So main levels that we got right now, I mean, who knows? They're probably going to gap down like 4 points, right? And then we'll buy the dip, right? Or not necessarily we're going to, but I mean, that's probably what they're gonna do is buy the dip on that one. So we'll look for opportunities. Anyways, here we go. So Friday's low is the first key level there, so that's 322. So that's 2 points below. Probably not that. Scene of the breakout here of this one is 321. So that's 3 points. Your major level right here is about 313. Okay, and then why is that a major level here? It was prior resistance here, about 312-ish, 312.70, right? And then we're kind of holding that prior resistance level as support right here, 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 and here. So that is likely where we're going to probably test, especially with this news. If not, right, then we got the trend box low, 302. Okay, so those are kind of your main levels on that one. Good. Cloud Guy, what's going on? Yeah, PCG, let's take a look. Yep, so PCG, let's say inside day down on Friday, right? It did have a nice little epic run up on its own, right? But I don't mean to call everything epic, but it is holding support right here, right? So lower shadow, lower shadow, lower shadow. Key level to hold is right here, right? A breakdown below Friday's lows could start to see the gap fill, and test some levels below as well. All right, what else we got? Good stuff. CRWD. CRWD has been trying, that's for sure. It's been giving some moves intraday. I mean, just like go to its daily chart. I mean, it just gets angry for a little bit, right? It pushes the lows and then boom, and then it's like, oh no, never mind, right? So this is a tough one, right? So we just have to wait. I mean, it stinks, but it's holding some key levels. Prior resistance was here, here, and here. Now it's holding that support. Now let's just see if we can get over Tuesday's high, right? And see if we can close above that 66.84. So over 67, I'd say. Some bullish, some good volume, right? Might be ready for this one. Michael, SPCE, let's take a look. Absolutely. I mean, this thing just looks angry. I mean, just really like for no reason. It just looks so angry. I don't even know if they've changed their business model at all, right? I mean, it doesn't take rich people into space. Like, okay, so, but something's up with it, right? I mean, ever since here, it started to get some real volume, started to move up. Then you got these big breakout candles with huge volume on this thing, right? Major congestion zones that it's been breaking out of. Broke out again on Friday. Definitely want to keep an eye on it. It's been popping up on our scans a lot. It's got earnings coming up. Something's up. I don't know what it is. Maybe Tesla's going to buy them, right? I mean, who knows? I don't know. But we've been talking about that since back here. But we'll see. We'll see what they're up to. So, right? Because Tesla, they've got SpaceX and they want to go to Mars. So, what better acquisition candidate than this guy right here, the space company? So we'll see. We'll see what it does. But anyway, yeah, strong candle. I mean, very, very bullish. Good stuff. Chester, what's going on? Casual Camera Tester, what's going on? Tesla is a short, obviously. Obs. Chester, let's take a look. Diz. Let's take a look. So Disney's been pretty rough. I mean, a bunch of these Dow stocks got beat up a lot on Friday, right? So maybe it was a little, ominous type stuff, a little premonition, right? Because we had, just real quick, like IBM just got crushed on Friday, right? So Disney didn't get crushed, but it, definitely got pushed back down. Pushed out of the cloud. Again, let's see how it holds the 200-day moving average right here. Really important stuff. It's back below The upper channel right here looks a lot like Roku, right? Remember after earnings right here, it looks a lot like Roku. Right, so we'll see what Roku does. It might give a relief bounce again too, and then kind of hold. But anyway, here we are, right at the 200-day moving average right here. Prior resistance, prior gap type stuff, right? The closing gap down here. So let's see if that stuff holds. If this can hold, right, then eventually they'll probably come up, release some new, numbers about their Disney Plus streaming, and then it start to work its way up. But we'll have to keep an eye on it. Right now, it's back in that downward channel, so just be careful with that. Good. Tilak, what's going on? What scanner do you use? Can you go over that? What you scan for? Yeah. So our scanner, that is just part of the group, right? So we've got a private group, right, on Positive Trends. You can check out the links in the description. But our scanner, what it does is it puts stuff in front of us that are extremely bullish, right? So we've got some special techniques that we do that it gives us. It puts basically the best of the best of the best right in front of us, and then we use our intraday techniques to see if it makes sense for us to trade it. So that's what we look for, and that's for the bullish side and the bearish side. Manoj, what's going on? Good evening. Hope you're doing great. W Day. Let's take a look. So W Day. Nice moves right here. Nice spinning top candle right here. So W Day pretty interesting, right? So just couldn't quite close above these levels right here. A little bit of an ascending triangle it's working on. So the first attempt to break out was a fail. That's okay. We do have earnings coming up pretty soon, so that's kind of blah. But we got 10 days to see if we can break above one of these days, Friday's highs, and then try to give it a little bit of an earnings run on that one. That would be nice. Pelagi, what's going on? Cyber. Let's take a look. CYBR. Yep, so Cyber got a little bit crushed the other day, right? So big move down inside day here. It's holding one of our old fib fan lines that we have, which is pretty cool. So this old fib fan line from here to up here, if you believe it, is still levels being tested, which is pretty neat. So we're below the 50-day moving average, below the 200-day moving average. We're in the cloud. We're in an inside day. We're holding the fib fan line. So let's see how that holds for us right here. If it's and we're also at some kind of major support levels right here. So let's see how that holds. See if we can get above, right? Try to get over the 200-day moving average, work up the cloud, stuff like that, and then maybe start to work in the gap. Odds are probably go about 10, 15 days out, right before it's ready to try to break out again, and then maybe make some attempts into the gap. And then WWE. Oh, yeah. So this one here, so basically double inside day up, which was great. Then the earnings came out and it was not good. And then we had a nice candle here, but then it failed off of earnings. And then it's trying to get back up again. So at this point here, we have enough information to put a trend line on. We're starting to see a couple breakout moves right here. Let's see if we can get some volume over these levels and see if we can come back and test up here. So it's definitely, in play. It's interesting, right? But it's definitely bearish, right? Like the 50s below the 200s, below the cloud and all that stuff. So every move right here is really fighting trend. Right, so one of the things to look at, right, is see how far I could go, right, and then look for a breakdown of the upward trend line, and then look for a move down, right. So that's something to keep an eye on too. Iana, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Talak just joined and found out about you. Hey, cool. Do you trade using divergences? Yeah, sure. Sometimes, absolutely. And then Apple has a huge sell divergence. Yeah, it could. So I mean, you look at Apple, right? So we have the RSI right here, right? So we're pushing to not quite higher highs, but I mean, you can kind of, we talked about it here, right? So we talked about this, right? So we had a nice little move up here, right? So we had a bearish divergence here going up, and we did get a nice move off of that. We haven't quite hit higher highs yet, and we're kind of drifting down on the RSI, but you can see a little bit of a bearish move here to here, right? So if we can get below this trend line and start to work its way down, certainly could work its way that way. So we do stuff like that. We use it on different time frames too. We got a lot of other cool stuff too. Kali and Ramo, what's going on? Do you guys focus a lot on day trading or swing trading? Both. Well, during the day we focus mostly on day trading, right? So because there's a lot of action that we look at intraday, and but towards the close we scan through all our go-to lists. We go through the Dow, we go through our scans, and we look for swing trading opportunities as well. So this has been a very complex market, right? So you have to adapt, right? That's one of the key things, right? So sometimes using the old way of looking at things is not necessarily the if you look at it what everybody else is looking at, you're doing what everybody else is doing, right? And kind of following the crowd, right? So sometimes we look at things a little bit differently, and it helps us to find some very, very interesting swing subs. So really cool stuff. Netfry, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in, bud. J&J. Let's take a looky look. So J&J, interesting, right? So we have this upward channel that we're starting to break down out of, right? And as you guys know, it's had some issues recently, but it's still been pretty strong. They've held up pretty well over some of their new stuff. So we got a holding some support right here. Let's see if they continue to hold 50-day moving average pointing up. Nice golden cross right here on the 5200. Right. Let's see if we can come down. Market's bad. Maybe we'll come back and test it. And then I know you love your 50, so let's see if it can work its way back up there. Just watch X dividend coming up pretty soon. Balaji, yeah, my pleasure. Well, good stuff, guys. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. I really do appreciate everybody, all your chart requests, and definitely if you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube, and also if you can hit the like button. We always enjoy that, and we talked about the links in the description earlier, so good stuff there. But really appreciate everybody doing this. We do this every market night. We talk about new technical topics. This week we're talking about Tesla and its epic run up, and so we always, and then we take chart requests, right, and answer questions and things like that. So, hey, what's up, Kelly? Remember what's going on? So Beyond, let's take a couple of these real quick before we wrap up. So so Beyond Meat's looking pretty interesting, right? So we have a big cup right here, and this is looking like a big handle right here, right, which could also be a bull flag. So let's see if we can get out of it, right? So this is another cult stock, right? Like Tesla. The only difference is their CEOs, right? Their CEO is not a celebrity, right? So Elon Musk is a celebrity, right? So it's kind of a big difference, right, between these stocks. But we still look for big moves, right? So Beyond gave that big push out of this trading range, very long trading range right here, and then it gave that epic run up. Now it's kind of consolidating, right? Things don't go up in straight lines unless you're Tesla, right? So Beyond did this too, way back yonder, right? So after its big epic move up, very, very similar to Tesla, right? Remember that big up move right there, doji down, and then it worked its way up again. Press, then up again. Right, so we'll see. Who knows? Maybe Tesla will hit 1,000, then 1,500, and then it'll come back down. I mean, who knows? We'll see what it does. But anyway, we're working on a little bit of a cup and handle right here, bull flag handle. Right, so let's see if we can get out of that. It does have earnings coming up pretty soon, so something to look at as well. Enlighten me, what's going on? Michael, what's going on? IIPR. Let's take a look. Yeah, so these real estate has been actually pretty amazing recently, right? The XLRE's been, the XRE's been really good, right? The real estate sector, right? So we had a nice close on Friday, nice close above all these levels right here, nice, very nice, so very nice. So good candle right there. Look for some bullishness on that one too. So good stuff. And good night. Netfry, yeah, my pleasure, guys. All right, so again, thank you, everybody. Click subscribe on YouTube, click like, check out the links in the description. I hope everybody has a great night and gets a good night rest so we can all have an awesome trading day tomorrow. We'll see whether those futures open up. Try not to focus on it too much, and we'll hit it. We'll have a great day tomorrow again. So looking forward to it. I hope everybody has a great night, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game.